So can you tell me a little bit about how you first got into leadership?
Well, I felt the call of God to take me to Bible college, and so from there, I learned quite a bit about leadership and got into some leadership roles, leading Bible studies and stuff like that, and became student body president there at Messenger. And right around the time just before graduation, I was offered a youth pastorship, and I felt that that was just God's will for me. And I was taking pastoral studies courses, and so I felt like I felt like it was the right direction that where God was leading me to go.
Cool. Um, so real fast, I mean, you're still a pretty young guy. Um, Kind of outside of the youth itself, how do you connect with some of the older people in the church?
Oh, that's a great question. I find it sometimes difficult because even though I'm a leader of youth and in leadership role, I feel like sometimes I don't know if I want to call it maturity level is so much higher than my own. I'm a big believer in the importance of having multi generational leadership,
Mm-hmm.
in a church and stuff like that. And so I think it's important to connect with all generations because I think as a whole we make the one ministry, and so I try everything I can to do that.
Cool. Um, how how do you receive your vision for the youth? And tell me a little bit about how you communicate that to them.
um, I receive vision by just kind of some things of like my own direction, that I feel like God's leading me. And, it just seems like as the years go by, I've been in the ministry for 2 years. And when I first started, I didn't really feel like I had what you might call, a traditional vision or something like that. I just kind of felt like I knew where I wanted to see the youth group in a year. And, I was just talking to my pastor recently, and he was telling me about some stuff that, about how a leader is not only has microscopic vision but telescopic vision as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have to be able to see, when you're doing an event, you have to be able to see, how much bigger and better you can do it the next year,
Yeah.
and things like that. And as far as vision, I try to relate it to as much to the kids as I can, just on Wednesday nights and things like that, and I try to keep it as far as relating it to them, I try to just kind of get an idea. Like this coming year, I've got some things that I really want to talk to them about, and sometimes we'll have open forums and things like that, just in youth, and
Cool.
we'll be able to discuss ideas that they have and ideas that I have, and
That's cool.
just kind of keep it open like that with them. So try to do that as much as possible.
Cool, man. Um, so we've kind of been learning about the difference between merely being a manager and actually being a leader.
Mm-hmm.
A leader being that they move people from one place to another. How do you kind of stay in a leadership position rather than just a manager?
Well, I'm reading a book right now called Simple Church, and we're doing it in our leadership team. And it's important to, it kind of described the difference between, kind of brought in the example of, say, like a travel agent and a tour guide. And a travel agent, kind of just sends out the material, makes the trip or makes the excursion look great. But the tour guide, but his job ends there as the travel agent. The tour guide actually takes a person step by step through the process and helps them, step by step get through their tours and have the best time that they can. And I think that it's important as far as with spiritual growth, to do the same. And I think that we as leaders, and we can kind of manage and keep things status quo, or we can kind of decide that we're going to do something different and really want to see the ones that are underneath us become spiritually mature. And sometimes I do feel like just a manager,
Yeah.
you know, and I feel like I really need to develop that. But I think, like I said, as the church is growing, I think we'll really develop that too. So
Cool. Um, what are some of the challenges of being a youth pastor?
oh man, I think some of the biggest challenges that have been hitting me lately is you know trying to overcome discouragement,
Mm,
not just in the ministry, not just where I'm at, but just discouragement in the lives of the kids, and the youth group and stuff, and
yeah.
just seeing some of the stuff some of the trials that they have to go through, and some of the issues with their families, those that are not churched, or those who have been raised in church and kind of maybe living in backslidden homes and things like that. Just really lately has really been getting to me, and so that's something that's really been heavy on my heart, and
Sure.
I guess also just trying to um, develop a team, and trying to develop a team who has the same passion and same vision that you do, and being able to relay it to them in a way that it catches fire in their hearts the
Yeah.
same way as it's caught fire in
Yeah.
yours, and that's difficult.
Yeah.
It's just a difficult process, and it takes time, and it doesn't happen overnight. So sometimes you get impatient, but
Yeah. Sure. Sure. Um, what are some of the rewards of being a youth pastor?
I just knowing that I'm in God's will
Mm,
is reward in itself, and so and like I said, it's just you know those youth. There's always going to be, and whether you're a pastor or a youth pastor or a children's pastor, there's always going to be those that are underneath you that are taking things more seriously than others, and their spiritual lives, and just their everyday lives, and it's always a blessing to see that, um, and they say that, in youth ministry you don't always see the fruit of your work and labor, right away, but it really encourages me when I do see fruit,
yeah.
that's sprouting right before my eyes,
Yeah.
in certain youth. And I think it is true that at times, you don't always see the effects of what you're doing, but eventually, it comes around to, you know, um, where you've done something in somebody's life, and
Yeah.
that's a big reward.
Cool.
So
Cool.